Hello everyone, it's Kathy from Crafts by Kathy. Welcome back, welcome if you're new. I decided to make a start today on some of my Christmas card orders. Last year I made quite a few and sold them for a charity that means quite a lot to our family. So a few people have been asking me, am I making them again this year and can we order some? So I thought I'd make a start, and whilst I was making this card that you can see in the top left corner, I thought actually it lended itself quite well to being a small Christmas journal. So I ran this idea past one of my customers who said she would be absolutely delighted to receive one. So here I am making that one, and I thought I would record the process to share with you all. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you will know that I did promise that I would be doing more videos where I would craft along and chat with you. And here I am again with a sped up video with a voiceover. Well, we've had a new neighbour. He's not made the best impression, and now he's got builders front and back, so there's nowhere in my house I can sit and quietly record. So if you hear anything in the background today, that will be it. So I will do my best. So far I've chopped a piece of digi printed hymn paper to the size of a 5x7 card. I've inked around the edge before I've scrumpled it up, and believe me, it's much easier to do the edges before you scrumple it. I'm now highlighting with my ink those beautiful worn creases in the paper to make it look a little older. I don't know why I did the whole sheet of paper, because of course you're not going to see the middle, but just concentrate around the edges mainly, making it look a little bit more aged. I flatten it out a little bit with my ruler here. As you'll see, we're going to stick it down with double-sided tape. When I do stick it down though, I do like to have some of those creases still not just looking creased but feeling creased, so I haven't smoothed it down too much. So we take off that double-sided tape, and I'm going to attach that to the front of my 5x7 craft card. Do my best to get it centred. Doesn't always work, in fact it very rarely works, but you'll see here that I'm showing you that it's still got a bit of texture to the paper where I've creased it. I have printed that on 120 GSM printer paper, so it's not just regular copy paper, so it should hold its creases quite well. I've got my little bits and bobs of materials there, so I've pulled out a little bit of antique looking lace, and I'm just going to pop some in the top left corner and in the bottom right corner, going up and down in the bottom right, so it's behind our sentiment. I'm using my coral glue there, and I do find that if you just pop a little bit on and then use the bottom of your bottle to make the lace adhere to it, it usually works pretty well and pretty fast. So we're going back to our main feature of the card / journal, which is a hand watercoloured nativity scene. A little bit abstract, but you know, some people like that. I like it. So I'm just going to make that watercolour look a little bit more distressed now with my vintage photo Distress Oxide by Ranger. I used the darker colour on the background and on the card, but this one I did want it to look more of the vintage photo-y, softer brown. And you'll see what I do is I go round with quite a thick amount of oxide on my dabber, but then I go round again without redabbing and just bring that vintage photo look to the inside of the watercolour card to make it look a little bit more aged. I'm then going to stick that on with these double-sided foam pads, because I like the look of it being raised over the music paper, but also with the music paper having the texture that we've given it, it wouldn't sit flat anyway, and it is also a nightmare to get watercolour paper to sit flat on a non-smooth surface. So I've placed that slightly top heavy on the card, so I've got more space at the bottom for my sentiment. These are some sentiments from a DigiKit. I can't remember the name of the shop, but I'm sure I do still have the rest of the sheet of paper, so I will dig that out and I'll pop it in the description box below. I did only purchase them today, but my brain is like a sieve and I cannot remember the name of the shop, but I will link it. I'm going to pop that onto some faux handmade paper that I've got here, which is another version of the handmade paper that I make, gluing book pages together, and then I will glue a coloured napkin over the top or paint over a plain napkin, and it just gives it that materially feel. I'm inking the edges of that sentiment and its backing, ready to go onto the card. And because we positioned the focal point of the card with foam pads, what I'm going to have to do is pop some foam pads on the bottom of that sentiment and then use glue to stick it to the top, to make it all even, otherwise it would be a bit higgledy-piggledy. So you can see now I'm just making sure that works and adhering the top of it with my coral glue, and there we have the card, if you were to make a card, completely finished. But of course we're going to make this into a little mini journal cover. So I've already got some papers cut to the right size, because obviously I knew I was going to be turning this one into a mini journal. I've got some Gutermann waxed linen thread in a dark brown colour, and there's my signature. I've got "Oh Little Town of Bethlehem" in the middle, I think. Thought that was quite cute. So I'm going to use the 3-stitch method here, I think it's called. So I'm making 3 holes through my signature and my cover with my awl, and I'll go in through the middle hole. Now you'll see I make a right hash of this. If I were you, I'd use a paper clip or a bulldog clip and keep your signature together in the right place. But of course, knowing best, I didn't. So you see me fumble about here with the signature to try and get it all together in that bottom hole. There we go, we're through. So make sure you keep your linen thread taut in through the top hole, so all the way from the bottom to the top on the inside. Keep it tight, back in through the middle, and then you want one of your dangly ends on one side and one of your dangly ends on the other, and that'll keep your knot secure. So make sure that's nice and tight. Chop off your needle, double knot, right over left, left over right, that'll keep it secure, and trim your ends. And there we go, we've got a very easy, very quick little mini journal, perfect for recording precious moments. This journal and cards will be for sale on my Etsy store if you wanted to go and have a look. Thanks for being with me today. Stay safe, take care, and I'll speak to you again soon. Lots of love, bye bye.